Today we're going to be talking about the margin of sampling of error. Now, what the margin of error is it's how many points results could differ from the actual numbers. So when we do a study, and like say we do a poll, we can't question everybody. So typically what we'll do is we will take a sample of people to represent the whole population. And so this formula that we're going to use, the margin of error formula, will help us determine how many percentage points our results are different from what it would have been if you would have sampled every single person in that population. So the margin of error sampling error is if the percentage of people in a sample responding in a certain way is P, so P is their response, that's the percent right here, and the size of the sample is N, so N is the number of people, or the number of people that are responding, then 95% of the time, the percentage of the population responding in that same way would be within P plus or minus the margin of error. So it would be within a range then. So this is what's going to give us how far off we are from the results that we come up with. So in a Washington Post survey of 1,003 randomly selected adults published on May 26, 61% of those surveyed said they regret things they didn't do in their lives. What is the margin of error in this study? So looking at this is saying 61% of people regret that, but they only asked 1,003 adults. So if they were to ask the whole population of adults, what would it actually be? Well, here's how we figure out what the actual numbers would be, what range it would fall in. The number of people was 103. Here's our percent. So we use this formula for the margin of error. And you put in P right here, which is 0.61. And then 1 minus P is 1 minus 0.61, which is 0.39. And then divided by the number of people in the survey, which is 1,003. Now you want to make sure that all of this right here, that's underneath the square root. And when I put that in my calculator, I typed in 2 times the square root of 0.61 times 0.39 divided by 1,003. And then I put a parenthesis there. And what you come up with is 0.03, which is 3%. So that is the margin of error. It means that it is 3% either way of that 61%. So 61% is what they're saying, but if you go 3% back, subtract 3 from 61, you get 58%. If you add 3% to 61, you get 64%. So that gives us the range of what the actual answers would be. 95% of the time, that would be, if you were to survey everybody, all the adults, it would be between 58 to 64% of the people who said they regret things that they didn't do in their lives. Let's do another one. In a survey of 520 randomly selected high school students, 68% of those surveyed stated that they were involved in extracurricular activities at their school. Find the margin of sampling error in the following exercises and state the range that the responses would fall between if the question were given to the general population. So they were involved in extracurricular activities at their school. So we have 2, and then the percent is 68, and 1 minus 0.68 is 0.32. So I'm just going to work that out. There's less numbers to have underneath there. And then the number of students that were surveyed was 520. So let's just put that in the calculator. 2 times the square root of 0.68 times 0.32 divided by 520 is 0.04, which is 4%. So that's a pretty big margin of error, 4% either way. So to find out then the range, we're going to take 68 minus 4 and 68 plus 4. So that would be, the actual range would be 64% to 72%. So that's a big range. That's an 8-point range then. All right, let's do one more here. In a survey of 1,730 randomly selected adults, 45% agreed that the results of call-in polls are believable. Find the margin of sampling error in the following exercises and state the range that the responses would fall between if the question were given to the general population. So the margin of error would be 2 times the percent is 0.45. 1 minus 0.45 would be 0.55 over the number of people surveyed. And when you type that out, you end up with 0.023, so 0.02, which is 2%. So it would be 2% either way. So it would, the range then would be from 43, because it's 45 minus 2, and then 45 plus 2 is 47. So the actual range is somewhere between there if you were to survey all adults. Now, I just want to show you, in order to get a study with a smaller margin of error, what you need to do is you need to increase the number of people that are interviewed. Okay, that's going to give you a more accurate answer. So if I took this problem and if I put 10,000 in instead, so I'm just going to type in 10,000 into the denominator, interview 10,000 people, you would get 0.009, which is 0.9%. So it's not even 1%. So it's definitely, it decreases it. This was 2%. This is not even 1%. So the more people you ask, then the closer your, the smaller margin of error that you do have. And that's it for this lesson. It was just a short little one. You're going to work on your review, and there are a few questions for you to practice margin of error. We're not spending a lot of time on it, and then you'll have a test on this. So thanks for watching.